Hello, beautiful vegans. Happy Thursday. It's live stream time. And I had a guest, and you know how it goes. Sometimes people have to cancel or reschedule. So here I am. I thought, let me just jump on and say hello to everybody. And I was looking through some stuff this morning for some papers, and I ran into this wonderful poster that I have. And I used to be a I focused on relationship coaching. And this is something that I used to talk about then. And I think it's very applicable to vegans. And it was very apropos that I bumped into it. So, does anybody recognize this guy? See if you can see it without all the JJ. Well, it kind of looks like you a little bit. So, let's see if you can see it. Spock and logic. So, this is very, very important in relationships and also, well, relationships, any kind of relationships, and also in vegan activism, because we don't want to be just emotional basket cases when we're talking to people. And I have been that when my anger was up, my frustration level was high, and I was just like, I just threw this out the window, right? Goodbye, logic. So I always think about Mr. Spock, who's inside of me, right? I have a Mr. Spock side to myself, and I need to call on Spock for help sometimes, right? Spock needs to ground me instead of this, like when I'm on this emotional rant about veganism, or I want to pull someone's hair out or pull my hair out and say, can't you understand, right? So what would Spock think to that about that person? He would probably look at them like, why are you going nutso? Right? So it's very important to tune into our Mr. Spocks. So I have a Mr. Spock muscle inside of me that I can develop, and we all can develop a Mr. Spock muscle, and we can just sit quietly sometimes when we feel like we're going to explode and ask for Spock guidance, right? I really like watching him because he's very thoughtful. He's not just spouting off, right? He really thinks, and you can see him thinking, right? The wheels are turning. And so it's very important in our own communication as vegan activists to use logic, to have a balance, right? A balance of emotions and logic. And when we go speak to people, to be very grounded. And Spock is very grounded. I don't imagine him being thrown off or running in the corner crying or screaming at anyone. No, he's very, very sure of himself, very confident. He's always standing very strong, and he knows what he believes in. So this is something that I challenge you to do. Work on this week to tune up your Mr. Spock and to tune into the Mr. Spock part of you that can really help ground you in these activist, in these animal activism discussions when you're really trying to promote veganism. Even before you go out there, call on Mr. Spock, that Mr. Spock inside of you. Okay, I'm taking you with me. I'm taking you with me, Spock, right? I know I'm not going to go out there and I'm not going to rant and rave. I'm not going to go out there and cry, but no, I'm going to be very logical, very calm, take some deep breaths, very, very, very confident. And I know that I have emotions, and that's wonderful. Thank God I have emotions, because it's the emotions that made me a vegan. It's the heart that made me a vegan. So I'm thankful for that, and I honor them. But I also am going to develop my Mr. Spock muscle for communication, because think about it. People don't want to see someone that's just, like has like me, my face just bright red with frustration, right? I mean, that's a big turn off. So the more that we can tune into who we are, the more that we can develop ourselves on the inside, the more we're going to be able to handle all situations. So it's the inner work, the deep breathing, the mindfulness, and this sounds so hokey. I know it might sound like, well, I don't have time for that. I need to be out there working on animals and helping animals. I don't have time to work on myself. The more you work on yourself, the better advocate you will be for animals. The more that you are grounded and aligned with you, and the more strength you have, the more confidence you have that the outside world doesn't matter, but you're going to go along like I see a lot of the I think it's Mormons, little young men that are always out there on the pavement knocking on the doors, or Jehovah's Witnesses knocking on the doors, go from house to house to house. And I've never seen them when they get to a house get angry or frustrated or anything. They're very composed. Even I see them in the grocery store, and they've got their Bibles. They were very polite to me the other day. And when I think about them, I think they are very persistent in their message. They know what they want. They know what they need to do. And so they do it, right? I've never seen them get emotional or anything, or they've never begged me to listen. No, but I like that. And that's something to learn from them, is that persistence, calm, logical, but empathetic, right? We're empathetic to other people. It's very, very important. So, yeah, it helps in all relationships. Listening to the other person. This is the same old thing. I sound like a broken record. We have to listen to other people. We have to listen more than we speak, but it's true. It's very, very true. And if you missed my live stream this morning, I had London Todd Sinclair on. He's amazing. He was talking about growing up in a dairy farm and the things that, well, he was brought up to, what he, as a little boy, taught to do, what they do to animals on a dairy farm. And I love the way that he was able to rebound once he went on, once he transformed into his coming out as a vegan, how his energy is about, it's through love that he's communicating with others, right? He understands them. And if anyone, so the next time someone says to you all, I'm not going to go vegan, think about Todd, because he grew up on a dairy farm. He lived it. This was ingrained as a young child. So hi Claudia, if Todd can go vegan, anyone can. And he wrote this wonderful book, Rebel Vegan. So if you missed it this morning, go back and watch. So don't believe people when they say, I'm never going vegan. I used to say that. I think we probably all did at one point, or maybe not. But if Todd can change, if he can change from being a part of dairy farming, he was on the dairy farm. I hope I'm not going to, the signal is always like wonky. But if Todd can come from working on a dairy farm to writing books as Rebel Vegan, then my gosh, there is a lot of hope out there. So don't give up hope. And remember, I'm going to pull this out again in case you all weren't here at the beginning. Spock. We need to call on our Mr. Spock. When we're getting too emotional, we're getting upset. So we want to balance. We want to be able to balance ourselves, right? We've got to be able to balance ourselves. If we see, like, we don't want to be too emotional. We don't want to be too logical. We don't want to be too emotional. We want to be somewhere in between, right? And we want to be able to be aware of this. Like, whoops, I'm over here on too emotional side. Now I need to balance back out. I need to bring some logic in. We need to be able to redirect. And so that's the inner work, to be able to look at ourselves mindfully. Like, oh my gosh, I'm about to, cuss somebody out. And we can look at ourselves without judgment. But mindfully, I see that I'm about to scream and lose it, right? So I need to step back. I need to take a step back, and I need to shift. So when we master our emotions, is in the shifting process, is when we're able to shift, right? Now I need to be more Mr. Spock, right? And now I need to be, let me think of somebody. Let me think of somebody. I'm looking at my bobbleheads over there. Kermit the Frog. Maybe I might want to be Kermit. And he was like, yeah, everybody, maybe I need to be more Kermit right now. Maybe I'm going to go talk to children. I want to be more Kermit-like, right? So it's about shifting into these different, like different, I don't want to say personalities, but different archetypes. Mr. Spock archetype, who's very logical. And then we've got Kermit the Frog, who would be really good for children, right? And we've got all these other personalities. What am I seeing? Another bobblehead. What's that? R2D2. Yoda. Yoda is one of my favorites, right? He's like Spock, right? Call on the Yoda in you when you're feeling stressed about people not wanting to change. What would Yoda say? How would he handle the situations? So this is mastery, mastering these different archetypes inside of ourselves so we can call on them anytime. Again, switch back and forth. And the more you are able to remain calm and confident, the better advocate you will be. Let go of whatever they're out. You let go of the outcome of the situation. Let go of their responses, right? You don't have to say you're going to be vegan. You don't have to say, you say whatever you want. Say whatever you want as long as it's polite. And I'm still going to, I'm not going to be affected. I mean, yeah, I might feel bad, but it's not going to change my mission. My mission is to speak up for animals. Your response will not change my mission, right? So that's confidence, and that's what we need in advocacy. So tell me where y'all are struggling, because it's my mission as a coach to help you all. What do you all want to see? What would help you all? And I know that a lot of us are navigating the emotions, which can be very overwhelming as a vegan. So really looking at those emotions with care and kindness, being kind to ourselves is crucial. Looking at ourselves with love is so important. Like just saying, Mariquita, I see how much this hurts you, and I send you love. Okay? I send myself love, right? So that's very important. And you know what? Claudia, let's see what Claudia is saying. She says, we had our street market with all the animals swallowing fat bellies much younger than me, and they can't even walk. His barbecue fell on his knee, so I went out and they complimented me for my fit condition and health, and I gave them a vegan lesson, then making a sprint along the street up and down the village. Several dozens of people they all made a great compliment and admitted they are doing it wrong. This is a big success. Yay, that is super exciting. I love that. Yes, let's all celebrate with you. And that's a wonderful way to be an advocate for this way of life, is us living in great health, us really thriving and being joyful, right? Being joyful. I'm very happy that I'm able to not hurt animals, right? I do the cause the least suffering to animals. And I'll tell people, oh, you seem so happy. Well, that's why I'm happy. I want to give credit to that. Give credit to myself. I became very happy. Well, many things, like my little dogs taught me joy, and they taught me unconditional love. And when I became vegan, I tuned into a respectfulness and connection with every living being, every leaf, every little grain of sand, every little piece of dirt. And that's why I'm happy, right? So that we're always having times that we can be advocating like that. Like, oh, well, you seem real happy today. And then, yeah, I woke up and I read this great vegan book, right? Or just something like that. Just throw it out there and leave it there. Like throw out the seed and move on. And then I went outside and walked my dog, right? And I had a great connection with the birds, and I thanked the trees. I said, thank you, trees. Thank you, sun. Thank you, rain, for for feeding me life, right? Thank you, universe, for feeding me life. So we always have opportunities, like Claudia just said, where they all complimented her and admitted they were doing it wrong with the meat eating. So wonderful. So I have a lot of energy now. But I was thinking we could do a little grounding exercise if this darn signal doesn't stop being wonky. Um, just to call ourselves back and to give thanks for animals, you know? So let me see when the signal gets right. Let me see. I don't think this is going to help moving the computer up a little bit, but you never know. Let's see. Well, let's do it. All right. Okay, let's do it. Let's just close our eyes for a minute and just breathe in the quietness of the earth. Just feeling that loving heartbeat of Mother Nature tuning in with us. And just feeling the radiance of each one of our souls here and giving thanks. Giving thanks for Claudia, for JJ, for me, for all the lovely vegans that are watching later. Giving thanks for the essence of you all, the beautiful, beautiful spirit that you carry, and just sending love to every animal on this planet. Just feeling that warmth of love flow from our hearts to every living being out there. Just recognizing their wisdom and their lessons. And just having gratitude for their being on earth. Having gratitude for ourselves, for everything we're doing for them. Just sitting in this divine energy of beautiful, beautiful blessings of life, the wisdom of the world, the heartbeat of the world. Just giving thanks to the sun, the moon, and the stars, the rain, the winds, and the trees. Just giving thanks to these beautiful elements of love that are here to support us every day on our journey, and knowing that we are fully supported by the universe, that we are so loved, and just sitting in this warmth of love and gratitude for all living beings and for ourselves. Just holding this energy throughout the rest of the day. Just saying yes, and so it is, and so it shall be. So when you feel like it, you can open your eyes. Thanks for joining, Stephanie. I was just taking a minute to really ground into the blessings of the earth and feeling the connection of every living being. It's very powerful, and we can go through life and not think about it easily. And I've been doing a lot of mindfulness exercises, and it seems like, wow, I was really asleep. Because one of the exercises today was just to take a couple minutes, look outside and see movement, right? Just see things moving. And I thought, wow, I'm missing these small, beautiful clips of life. So when we stop and give thanks for ourselves and have gratitude for every leaf, every blade of grass, then we really can tune into authentic living, right? I mean, that's what veganism is. I think, whoops, I'm knocking off my mic. Veganism is about connection with all living beings, respectfulness for them all. And the more that we can connect and kind of have this mindfulness practice, the more we radiate. So let's see what Claudia is saying. We ourselves are living examples to the others that we're doing the right thing. They know it. You're right. They do know it. You're right. I've really been on a kick too about that. I mean, really I'm not trying to shine my light, but really when I'm around the church, I wear my vegan shirts and I want to be a good example. That's one thing. We've got to be good examples. And Claudia, you were a wonderful example, and you are. So, but yeah, so every time we go out, people know that we're vegan, most likely, right? And so it's very important for us to put on a shining face and to be a good example of vegan. But then we can also tell them, hey, there are challenges, and then we can talk about our feelings. And the hardest part about being vegan was finding out the truth that I didn't know about, and having to go through that, having to navigate the emotions once I felt the sadness, the overwhelming sadness for animals. So having a compassionate friend, I mean, that's something I could talk to for one of my friends. If it's been, saying it's been hard being a vegan. My heart goes out to the animals, but I'm very glad. No, I wouldn't change a thing. So honoring these feelings is so important. When we have these feelings, recognizing them and sending them love, sending that sadness love. My sadness, like maybe feeling it here. I feel sadness for the animals here in my heart, and I'm just going to send love to the sadness and say, hey, you're so beautiful. I love you. And to take care of ourselves, right? And take care of these beautiful hearts that we have. Because if we didn't have these soft, warm hearts, we wouldn't be vegan. We would still be in the dark. Something picked us, and we are the chosen ones to be vegan. And that's a tremendous blessing. I'm thankful that I was chosen to awaken, right? Because there's so many of us that are not awakened. So I'm very, very blessed, and I give thanks to myself. Let's get up and give thanks to ourselves every day for everything we're doing. I know that you all are working hard. Claudia, Stephanie, JJ, I know that you all are great advocates for the earth. So celebrate yourselves. Don't ever forget that. It's very easy to forget to celebrate what we're doing and to acknowledge ourselves for the hard work that we're doing, right? So these are just some tips today. I just wanted to jump on here and say hello. I've had an interesting week. My little dog, who's sleeper there, he likes to go out. We like to go walking, and he likes to see the bees, but he's very fascinated by bees, and he always is snapping at them. And I'm like, no, 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 please do not snap at the bees. Anyway, so we were walking, and I saw him jump back and kind of crazy. And as we walked, I looked back, and there was a yellow jacket there. And we walked a little bit. I was trying to go to Dave Matthews Band that night. It was a couple nights ago, and I was going to walk Chloe before. And I didn't have tickets, but I thought I'll go down there and try to get tickets. And so let me take him for a little walk. And then then he started acting that kind of nuts. And we walked, and he started scratching, and I didn't think much about it. And then we kept walking, he started scratching. I was like, okay, well, whatever. I didn't think anything had happened. But so we went back to the house, walked in, and he went crazy scratching. And I turned him over, and he had a big bloody spot there from where he was scratching it. And I was like, oh my gosh, I was freaking out, thinking, what's going on? I thought it was a rash, and I thought it was scary because it was all bloody there. And I couldn't really see it, because he's very nippy. So he won't let me, unlike my other dog, Mickey, and all the other ones have, well, I don't know, the Jack Russells weren't always so, they were a little nippy too. So nevertheless, I was able to go drive through Walgreens and get him a Benadryl. So that was very nice. And then, very nice, very convenient that they had the drive-through, and that they accommodated me, and that it was okay. I stayed with him. I didn't go out that night like I had planned to, because, well, I Googled it. I don't know if anybody has a tip, but if your dog has an injury on their stomach and then they are scratching, how do you prevent that? I couldn't tie his leg down, and, a cone doesn't do any good. So I stayed with him and gave him another Benadryl that night, because it would have been, the next dose would have been right in the middle of the concert. So anyway, it's all good. I didn't know if I could have gotten tickets anyway. So, but yeah, so that was been a challenging week. We also had another issue. We were checking on some friends, let's just say, some friends' pets, and it turned out that somehow they had a flea outbreak, and then we ended up with a few fleas, and then that's been kind of a rough road. Yeah. trying to get rid of those fleas. Yeah, so good grief. Poor little Louie's been kind of having a rough week. I mean, he has flea protection, thank goodness. But I mean, it could have been a bad situation. I don't know if anybody's ever had a flea outbreak, but those are the absolute worst. And we have been through that before, and we don't ever want to go through it again. So we take it very seriously. Let's see what Claudia is saying. There are many that would like to make the change, but they're not strong enough. When they see how we're striving and growing inside out. So this is a seed which is planted one day or the other. One may find the strength. Maybe for their children and those to come. Our empathetic plant is growing slowly, but it's growing. Amen to that. You're right. And that's what in the live stream earlier, Todd and I were talking about with his family. You know, I mean, think about it. I mean, his whole family are dairy farmers. So to step away from that, I mean, this is years and years of dairy farming. It's gonna take a lot of strength to go against those tradition and that family upbringing and everything. But he says that they're opening up more and more to different kinds of milks and different ways of eating. So yeah, we've all got our challenges. It's very rare that I interview someone or have a guest on that says, yeah, my whole family went vegan after I went vegan. I don't even know if I've had a guest that said that. If you all remember that I have, let me know in the comments. Because really, I was thinking last night, if we could have a way to get people that went vegan immediately before they talk to anybody, right? And then tell them the best way to advocate, for veganism, the best way to share the message. But see, that's impossible, I think, because of course, when we go vegan, we want to just tell everybody, hey, I went vegan. Once you hear this, you're going to want to be vegan too. You're not going to believe it, right? And unfortunately, we know that doesn't work. So if we could get to the people fast, I mean, that's just not going to work. But it was just a thought, a thought process that went through my mind. But we do the best we can, and how could we not think people would want to go vegan immediately? But yeah, I'm looking at Claudia's comment again about the seeds being planted, and one day or another, the people might find the strength to go vegan. Yeah, we don't ever know, right? And even my journey wasn't just linear. No one's journey is linear. We might want it to be linear from A to Z, but it's not. It's full of, life is not linear, right? So why would the vegan journey be linear? And I think if you're talking to someone, of course, if you're talking to someone that's been very hardened by society or been very, had to shut down their emotions in life due to struggles they've had, they might find it more challenging. It might be more challenging for them to open up to being empathetic. So, and then, me saying that might not even be true. It might be easier for them to open up because they might be like, I can't live like this anymore. So we don't know what to expect from people. It's easy for me to say, well, I think this is going to happen or this isn't going to happen. And I have no idea what's going to happen. I'm not a fortune teller. So I have to remind myself of that. I do the best I can, and that's what I'm doing right now. No, I enjoy coming on here and saying hello to you all just for very casually. And I'm very laid back. I think sometimes too laid back, but whatever. I do have structure. I have coaching programs I'm on my third group coaching program starting soon. And I'm pulling more structure in every time. This third one's going to be very structured. They're all wonderful, though. The connections we've made and the breaking through these beliefs. And one of the big beliefs that I see with my clients is the perfectionism, And so we worked on that. We had a lot of breakthroughs in the last group. And I'm just excited about it, seeing people letting go of those limiting beliefs. These things that are holding us back of perfectionism. It has to be perfect. I have to do it right. And then if I don't do it right, I'm going to beat myself up. And all that time beating ourselves up could be going to building ourselves up. So that's what we work on, and it's wonderful. I love it. And there's a lot of great things happening in my life right now. I've been very, very busy also working with We Did It Health and doing the vegan master vegan conversations with Dr. Angela Crawford, and we're working with Claire Mann and with her vegan voices. So that's been exciting, and to hear what Claire says, all of her wisdom. So here's another comment by Claudia. I met an Australian millionaire couple in the shopping center, and they invited me to their Moulin in the neighborhood village here in France. She wanted to offer I don't know even how to say it, foie gras. And I said that I'm vegan, and she answered, oh, my son in Australia is vegan too. This couple had the biggest plant and tree plantation in England and sold during the Second World War, immigrating to Australia and New Zealand, making the bridge with France. When I visited a second time, everything was vegan. How beautiful. Wow, I love it. I love it. That just reminds me, when I hear that story, I think patience, 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 patience. That's a beautiful story, Claudia. Thank you for sharing. Yeah, who are we to say someone needs to hurry up on their journey? And we talked about that too, again, Todd and I in the live streams, like, well, wish we could have been vegan sooner, but that was our time. He even said, I don't know if I could have been vegan sooner. People are going to be vegan when it's the right time for them, no matter what we want, right? So, yeah, I love that story. And again, it reminds me of patience and tolerance, and then being kind, right? Kindness, kindness, kindness. We have so many opportunities, right? Every day we wake up is a new opportunity. Every time we talk to someone is a new opportunity to shine the vegan light. So I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I have coming up. I have a lot going on here in the Atlanta area. If you all ever get over here, please look me up. We had a great meeting with Ruben Guzman. He was amazing. We went to Loving Hut Restaurant. I don't know if I told you all about this, but he talked about a lady. So he was going to medical school, and he was doing autopsies. Let me get some information here. And he was doing autopsies of people with, that most of them had these big chronic health issues that the standard American diet produces, right? And so he had to clean the intestines. And he came across this intestine, and his teacher or mentor doctor said, I want you to make sure you look at this. You'll never see this again. And he said, this looks like a newborn's intestines. It's just perfect. Everything is, I guess in the intestines, there are things in there that stand up. So I'm not a doctor, obviously. And then, but they become flattened with the poor diet, right? But hers were standing up just like a newborn's, he said. And so they were like, we got to talk to this lady's family. We got to find out, who was she, right? Turns out she was in her 70s. And let me get the information that he told me so I can get it right. So she was a Seventh-day Adventist. She was never ate meat. She walked 5 miles a day. She was very positive. She had a great outlook on life and ate whole food plant-based. And she also had an undiagnosed ventral septal defect, a perforation between the ventricular chambers of her heart. And his mentor, Dr. Glover, said that most people with that genetic defect rarely live past the age of 20, and she beat the odds by over 50 years. 50 years. And she was, like I said, again, she was in her 70s. Isn't that amazing? How clean living can really, it's just amazing. Clean foods, earth foods can expand our capacity no matter what they say. If they say you've only got 6 months to live. He also was working with a friend, a gentleman that they gave him 6 months to live. And through working with Ruben, he lived to like 30 months on the clean lifestyle. So it's amazing. We don't have to feel hopeless. No. And eating the colors of the rainbow is beautiful. I just had some watermelon and I'm going to go swimming and I'm going to take some watermelon with me and I'm excited. So there's a lot of wonderful stories to share with others, like the one I just shared with you, and like Claudia's stories. These stories can give us hope and really lift us up. I really encourage you to find community and to connect with people. COVID really pushed me. When I started coaching during COVID online. And so to have the support then, I wasn't doing vegan then, but that online community was beautiful. So wherever you find support, please get it. And if you don't have it, please start a group yourself, because somebody's waiting at home, probably saying the same thing. There's no one here. I don't have anyone. And they're waiting for you to start it. So, all right, y'all. I guess I'm going to hit the road here and go maybe go swimming or something, or work a little bit and play with Louie a little bit and just enjoy this beautiful day. Take a break. I've got the Master Vegan Communication class tonight, so I'm excited about that. But yeah, I'm going to have some downtime, and I encourage you to do that too. Have some downtime and take care of yourself. Do some deep breathing, do some mindfulness. Just look and hear sound, or look and see movement, or look into your heart and see what's beautiful about you, because I see it. All right, y'all. Well, I love y'all and I'm wishing you the best. Celebrate yourselves always. I'm celebrating you. Love y'all. Namaste, vegan. Thank you, Claudia. Love you.